Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Allotment of the Dead, surrounded by tomato plants still. So these are going to go in this area here. I've planted pretty much everything else inside the polytunnels now, inside all of the buildings, and I don't think there's any space left for any other tomatoes to go inside, which is a real shame because I've got one Rebel Starfighter which I thought I'd killed, and strangely enough he's actually grown back. So I think I might see if I can fit that in somewhere inside, just to give that one a fighting chance. I didn't think I was going to get any of those this year, even though it looked like a really interesting one to grow. So yeah, that's going to be a challenge to try and find somewhere to put it. So in the meantime though, I've got probably another 6 varieties to go out in this bit of ground here. About maybe 20 plants. So I'm going to put them in to this area here, and I'm going to use these fantastic spirally canes, which I've used every year now for about the last, I don't know, 6-7 years now. They're always a good talking point. People always find them quite interesting when I've used them. They go into the ground quite easy. They don't rust because I think they're aluminium. And generally, in terms of support for the plant, they do give quite a bit of support. You kind of can actually, I wouldn't say fold, but you can actually intertwine the tomato plant in with the actual curves of the canes here. So these were originally bought from Lidl, I think, probably about 5-6 years ago. I've actually got 2 lots. So the first lot I got from Lidl. The second lot I got from Amazon. And the little ones were cheaper. So I've got about maybe 10-15 of these, so I'll be using these to start with, and then whatever I've got left will be just the normal green canes that I've been using inside with the chilies. Should be interesting. So I'm going to try and see if I can use some of the security tags as well, so we know exactly which particular tomatoes are underneath these as well. As I say, trying to see a label at ground level, especially with my aging back, has always been quite difficult. So what we'll do is we'll put the cane into the ground first, as far as it will go. She goes quite far. And then we've got these varieties of, say, different tomatoes. So we've got Mortgage Lifter here, which is a really kind of hefty, gives you a really nice big tomato. We'll take the opportunity while we're here to remove these extra stems that are coming out. So between where the leaf comes off and the stem, you get the second kind of stem trying to grow off, and that'll actually make potentially more flowers and more tomatoes. But a lot of the time you get a weaker plant from leaving those on, and you get a kind of spindly plant. So if you try and get more of your strength into the actual main trunk of this particular plant, then all the better. I'm going to also take off these bottom leaves. Reason being that all of this hairy bit here, and to be fair, most of this plant is actually quite hairy, but this area here, the bottom of the stem here, if I bury that under the ground, then they will make more roots from this area, and it makes for a much stronger plant. And it's a plant that will withstand a lot more of the elements, and it will put out those extra roots and things, which will enable it to take on more nutrients, more water, and then you get a far better crop at the end of it. At least that's the theory. They've always done all right for me. Outside there is a chance of blight. You get more of a chance of blight, unfortunately, especially that early blight that comes in. But hopefully in this area, it's been okay before, so we should be able to get these up and running. So I've got a couple of varieties here. There's some more over there. So I've got Black Beauty, I've got Mortgage Lifter. So this one here is Mortgage Lifter. We've got some Heinz 1350. So these are the tomatoes that they use for making the tomato soup. At least that's what I'm led to believe. So again, hopefully there'll be a nice decent tomato off those. I've got 3 or 4 of those to put in here, so we'll start with them. We'll make a nice row with this Heinz 1350. We'll see how big they grow as well. They might be a bush variety, I don't know, I'll have to find out. I've also got RAF, which again is supposed to be a fantastic tasting tomato. Last year I got a couple off it and they were really nice, but again that blight came in quite quickly, not long after the fruit had actually set and started, and unfortunately they'd started to kind of rot on the vine before I had a chance to harvest a lot of them. So maybe this year will be better, but we'll give it a go. All right, let's make a nice deepish hole. So I'm going to break the soil up a bit as I'm doing this. So we're going to bury these quite deep. So this is the Heinz 1350. Again, we'll take out those side shoots. Nice root ball there. Again, these have probably been in these pots for too long. That root ball is fantastic, and we'll put it in. We'll already get it acclimatized to that cane. It's going to grow up, and we'll put the label in. I'm going to put these security tags onto these later on. It should be good. Right, we'll put the next cane in. So the next cane is going to be here. Oh, the thing about aluminium is it is quite bendy, but it's all good. Right, so the next Heinz 1350 is going to go in here. Again, quite a nice deep hole. A few less roots in this one than that one, but again, should be okay. Again, we'll acclimatize it to the cane. Press it all nicely down. So what we'll do is we'll scorch these as well afterwards, and we'll give them a good drink of water. Even though it's rained overnight last night, and it's rained for some of this morning as well, so the ground is okay. It's a little bit moist, but the penetration of that water didn't really go too far down, about an inch or so. So we're still going to need to probably water these in. Okay, and then we'll go on to the next one. Okay, I'm going to try and do this without killing myself. Let's separate that for ready for the next one. Okay. So again, we'll get the cane in the ground. Wonderful. Dig a nice big hole. Again, this is another one of these Heinz 1350s. Side shoots taken off. And again, nice root ball there. Fantastic, in fact. We'll get it in the ground. I've given these a water before I planted them as well. Again, in the hope that that would improve these going in the ground now. Okay. We'll put the label in. So we'll go on to this next row. Let me get another cane. So the next one will be this mortgage lifter. I'm going to not put them too close to the sunflowers I've got here. So I've got a row of sunflowers right next to where the poison garden is. I'm not going to put them too close to those, because you know that sunflowers have that allelogenic kind of or allelopathic effect on other plants around them, especially solanum species for some reason. So tomatoes, potatoes don't fare particularly well when you've got a sunflower quite close to them. Will be interesting to see with these. So we've got 3 Heinz 1350s here. So the one that's closest to them It'd be interesting to see whether that actually gets affected more than the ones at this end. It'll be interesting to see that. Right, so this next one is mortgage lifter. So mortgage lifter is supposedly called that because the farm that originally made this type of tomato used this tomato to clear their mortgage. At least that's the story. Again, fantastic amount of roots to that. Might tease a few of those ones out actually. All right, so we'll put that in. Again, we'll try and get that actually located straight away to the cane. Let's put that in there as well. We'll backfill, and there we go. And then we'll get the label in. Right, let me just go and get another couple of tomatoes. Right. So again, maybe slightly more there. Looks a bit wobbly. Okay, and we've got two plants in this one pot, so I'm going to try and tease them apart. Again, get rid of the side shoots. It's a good time to do it as you're putting them in. Let's see what that root ball is like. There's a lot of roots there. Right, I need to try and tease these two apart. Oh, okay, one is bigger than the other, as you'd expect. Again, side shoots out. Again, we're burying them deep. We're making sure that you locate the plant to the cane. And again, backfill in with plenty of soil. See, that's already looking great. We've got potentially 6 plants in a minute. Proper wobbly. Okay, let's stand that one up a bit. There we go. I might put some lights on the top of them. That'd be interesting. Watch them wobble in the wind. Okay, so the last mortgage lifter. And again, locate it to the cane, bury them deep, and then hopefully these are going to be really good. Okay, I've got 2 other varieties here. I've got RAF to go in. I've got Brad's Atomic Grape to go in. So these are Black Beauty. So this gives a really nice black variety of tomato. And I've got this new one, Blue Fire Vine. Not sure what this, I can't remember, to be honest, what this one actually looks like. Again, this was one that was sent to me very kindly by one of my subscribers. And it's going to be absolutely brilliant, I think. It's a really strong looking plant. I think this is one of those, unfortunately, one of those things that I'm probably going to suffer afterwards. I always seem to come out with a rash when I've been dealing with tomatoes. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what my hands are like after this. They're already feeling quite red and sore. Maybe I should have put gloves on. In fact, I might go and put gloves on in a minute. So I will get on and continue this. You got the general idea as to what I'm doing. I'll get back to you when I've planted them all, and we'll see what this particular area looks like then. Gives me a bit of space at the front. I think if I'm only going to put them three in each row, gives me a bit of space at the front here, and I can put some, I don't know, spring onions or mustards or something like that in there as well. Something that was going to grow quite quickly and not going to get too much in the way of these, and something that will still enable me to get past down this little pathway here. So we should be good. Right, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I've planted all of the tomatoes that I had left, all bar the Rebel Starfighter, which is going to go in one of the polytunnels. I did say I was going to plant these just 3 plants per row. Unfortunately, I have more tomatoes than I thought I had, so I've gone a little bit more than 3 per row. I'm going to put the security tags on the top as well, just so I know what's what in each row. But yeah, let me show you what I've done. Okay, so all of these nice weird canes, I've got to get some lights for them tops of these. They will look fantastic then blowing in the wind, but I'm not sure whether you can get them or not. I'm gonna have a look. But those are the tomatoes, lots I would say. Just need to give them a bit of a water as well. You can see I've strawched around each plant as well. Now strawch is supposed to keep the slugs off, but it has also got that added incentive of being able to keep the ground moist. And we'll give them a little bit of a water in. So you do this with all plants when you plant them. And you see I'm not spraying it directly on the leaves, which, if you actually think about it, is quite ludicrous really, seeing as, well, rain. You guys know that in the UK we probably have more rainfall than anywhere else, other than Ireland probably. So the whole idea of not getting plant leaves wet when potentially you've got a downpour of rain pretty much on a daily basis at some times of the year seems a bit ludicrous really. But to water these in, I'm directing it more at the actual plant on the bottom. Again, let's try and get some of this moisture down straight to the roots, and we'll see how it goes. So again, I managed to stick the kneeling mat on top of that borage. It might come back, I'll leave it. Having some borage around in these areas is always good. Brings the pollinators in, and it actually protects a lot of these plants from black fly and things like that, because borage, being the plant that it is, actually replaces its nectar every something like 45 seconds. Or it's one of those plants that will bring all the aphids and stuff directly to the oh, hang on, it will bring the aphids and stuff directly to those plants rather than the actual things you're trying to protect, like your tomatoes and your squashes and things like that. So it's generally a good thing. So that'll do for them now, and I'll go and do the Rebel Starfighter. So that's kind of what it's looking now. I've got the nice plant stage there, which I've put on top of the compost heap. So these Datura and Brugmansia are just starting to get their first flowers. I was hoping that this would be out. Let me see if I can get a better picture of it. It's not really in the light. There we go. I was hoping this one would be out and in full bloom when I had a visitor to the plot today, but unfortunately this will probably be in full bloom tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon maybe. But yeah, it's a shame because it would have looked pretty good on camera earlier. But there we go. So yeah, they're doing really well up there. I've put them up there basically because when these actually come out, they'll hang down and it looks more impressive. Right, so another day of sunburn and had a nice visitor today, so that was nice. Hopefully there'll be a video out sometime in Tuesday-ish. But yeah, I'm so happy that my plot is reaching all sorts of different people and that people find it as interesting as I do. So that's really, really nice. Anyway, that's my tomatoes in the ground then. I've not got much else left to plant. I've got a couple of squashes and things like that, and some more of the sweet corn that I'm going to need to put it in that other plot, because if I plant them here, that's going to be too close to those ones, and you get this cross pollination, and you end up with weird looking sweet corn off the back of it. So I'll hopefully get that other plot clear a little bit, and we'll go from there. I'm hoping to put my Dill's Atlantic Giant pumpkins in there as well. So we'll see how that goes. God, I am very red. Crikey, I think I need some after sun. Right, so that's my day for today. I'll see you on the next video, guys. So all the best. Take care. Bye bye.